I always remember this story when I was a kid about some bloke. He had throat cancer, right? And his doctor said, carry on with your life, right? It's not going to be that good, but just carry on. But don't eat meat. And he was like, oh, I love meat. He's like, yeah, but just don't, have your veg, keep yourself strong, but don't be eating that. Anyway, he was fed up because he loved his meat, and his wife was feeling a bit sorry for him one day, and thought, I'm sick of him looking fed up and that. All he wants is some meat, for God's sake, give him some meat. So she goes to the butcher's, gets him a big piece of, steak and what have you. He can't believe it. He's like, oh, brilliant, cheers for that. Anyway, he's got the meat on his plate, just about to tuck in, and the cancer comes out from his throat. What? No, it's something, I know, it sounds really weird, but it's something that I was told about years ago when I was growing up.
What are you talking about?
It was just some bad illness, some cancer thing, and it was coming out waiting for the meat. It was sort of dying.
Again, a lot of your medical knowledge is from
the film Alien.
So this guy with throat cancer, okay, as opposed to it being a disease of the cell.
It was like a living.
The alien. It was alien.
So it was the animal. It was the little animal cancer.
That's why
what are you talking about?
Meat. He wasn't allowed to eat meat.
So it's sitting there. So it's actually sitting there and throat. Well, I'll tell you what I'd have done if I'd have had some cancer in my throat. I'd go, there you go, rid of that. What are you talking about? So what happened?
He choked to death on this thing, and the wife was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have given him the meat after all."
Just that's a bollock story.
It's all. There's loads of weird stuff like that that happens in medical stuff.
Well, the terrible thing is, if you got testicular cancer and you eat meat, your bollocks come out of your trousers, and they're all over the plate, and you have to be asked to leave the restaurant. Okay, then listen. Right, I've found some things that I think will interest you, and I want your first thoughts on these. Okay, now these are facts that I've sourced. Okay,
what's the actual topic?
Well, you love animals, don't you? You're interested in animal facts.
Some of them. I don't love them. Some of them fascinate me and stuff, but a lot of them also get on my nerves.
I don't know how an animal can get on your nerves.
They just do.
Okay, then here you go. There's a frog, Karl, just a little frog, a poison arrow frog, that contains enough poison to kill over 1,000 human beings.
Why is it that annoyed?
It's not annoyed.
Well, why is it going about killing 1,000 people?
No, it has the potential to. It has enough poison, it has enough toxin in it that could kill 1,000 human beings.
But does it need that? Whereabouts is this? Where's it living?
Rainforest, I think.
And does it need that sort of power? Is it in that much? Is it getting threatened a lot? Is what I mean.
Well, no, because it's saying, don't come near me, and it shows it with its colours. It's got the colours that say it doesn't want to be eaten. It doesn't want people to chew a bit, right, and go, oh, I'm an idiot. It's saying, look at my colours, don't eat me. Don't want to come near me.
But then why give it bright colours? Because now it's standing out.
Yeah, and it's going, don't eat me.
Yeah, but make it a colour that fits in, like camouflage. Why make it orange? Of course it's going to stand out, and then they'll attack it, and then it'll turn around and bite and kill 1,000 men or whatever.
No, it doesn't bite. It's the fact that if you were to eat it, you would die.
Yeah, but who's going to eat it?
Well, things that eat frogs.
The French.
And they go, Sacre bleu! You have killed me and 999 of my friends.
But why is everything, surviving like this, though? I thought it was all about survival of the fittest, not the one who looks the hardest.
Well, but survival of the fittest is whether you're chosen or not by nature.
No, but I'd survive if I could go about killing 1,000 men at one bite. It's not fair.
It doesn't bite. It's
well, whatever. If it licks you or whatever. But
no, if it licks you. If you lick it.
Well, I'm not going to lick it. It's not going to happen. I will not be licking a frog. So it's of no danger to me. So I could still kill it, and there's no chance. At no point am I going to lick a little frog's head. Not when it's alive or when it's dead.
I love the fact it's all about you. It's all about how it relates to you.
And he's annoyed that they're getting away with something. He doesn't like any sly animals. He doesn't like animals hiding. Then he wants them to hide. He doesn't want animals killing things. Then he wants them to kill things. He doesn't know what he wants.
When they say survival of the fittest, they don't mean that, say, lions have been working out in a gym
It
Do you
means the
understand?
fittest. It means the fittest gene pool, and the fittest gene pool is a gene pool that's still around. That's all it is.
You think that everything, slugs, cats, are all somehow their ambition is to be like us, or to have the attributes like us, that they can speak, they can talk, they can think, they can act.
I only think that because when you see people with these pets, lizards, cats, whatever, they treat them like the humans. So I think if you do that enough times, they're going to start getting familiar with
Again,
certain...
Planet of the Apes.
No,
He's
I'm
thinking
talking,
of Planet
say
of the
like you,
Apes.
say like you with your cat, the way you talk to it, you give it a little cheeky massage and that when it's stressed out.
No,
It's a cat.
you made that up that it
It's
was
a
stressed
cat.
out. I'm just playing with my cat, right? If anything, the cat is to de-stress me.
So you're talking to your cat, Rick. Is it answering back much? How are the conversations going with your cat?
Well, I have more intelligent conversations with my cat than I do with him.
Yeah, here's one, right? When my gran died, right, she had this rubbish dog, right, and that's all we got left. It was called Fluffy, and like my gran looked after it in a way that it was treated like a human. Do you know what I mean? Had a little coat on when it went out and all that. Anyway, so she died. We get left it. My dad's like, oh bloody hell, right? Before you know it, it was a wreck because we weren't sort of bathing it the way she bathed it. We let it out. If it wanted to go out, it got covered in oil. It used to go under the car and everything. So it went from looking like this fluffy, poodle, to just being a bit of a wreck. It got hit by a car. It ran sideways like a crab and all that.
In the course of how long? A month?
Probably about two months or something.
Yeah.
Now, so it went from being over-treated to just being treated like a dog.
Yeah, but a dog isn't, is not a indigenous species anywhere. We sort of bred those from,
But change
jackals
it. All I'm
and
saying
wolves
is
and
change it. Take away the dog thing. I mean, that lizard thing you've got,
salamander.
it's still sort of treated as part of the family, even though it
Well,
does
it's not.
nothing. I mean,
How is it treated as part of the family?
just the way, it's looked after, that big area that it's got to itself.
We stick it in a case and feed it a cricket now and again.
It-
How is that like one of the
It
family?
doesn't matter because it's in your
It is
flat.
in Karl's family.
It's in your flat, innit? And it's sat in that corner. I just mean, as time goes on,
Yeah.
things get educated as they get older. How old's that lizard?
You don't.
How old is it?
About 15 years old.
Right. Now, it knows more now than it did when you got it because it's been in those surroundings. It's had its eye on things.
It's 15, so presumably it listens to a lot of Linkin Park. Goes on the internet a lot.
No, but do you know what I mean? You've already proved your point. It's like that fella who kept hitting the dog on the head with a stick.
Right.
I've
Pavlov, at no point did he hit a dog on the head with a stick.
But he kept doing it, and eventually the dog went, I'm sick of this, and wandered off, didn't it?
Pavlov
Yeah,
there.
brilliant. Do you know what I'd like to do? A programme where you you paraphrase someone's theory. So Pavlov's first. We could do Freud. Give us, what do you know about Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis? Right, come on in.
I don't know anything on him.
Here's an interesting fact. If the frog annoyed you, this might annoy you. A blind chameleon will still change colour to match its surroundings. You're aware that the chameleon can...
Yeah, whatever it sits on.
Yeah.
But then what happens when you put one of them on a mirror? No, does it get stressed out, or what? What's it copying?
Well, it probably doesn't need to copy anything because it looks at itself and it goes, oh, look, looks like that. It's brilliant. God, that was fast. That's the fastest I've ever done that. That is brilliant.
So they can go any colour, there's nothing, you can put them on anything, and they'll go to the thing.
I don't want you to have a chameleon because you'd just be trying to see what it could and couldn't
Try and
do.
catch it out.
I know, yeah.
Pop it on some tartan.
But again, say like the frog thing, right?
Pop it on the telly.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it fast enough.
Why does the chameleon need that skill of copying a colour? Because at the end of the day, that's mainly sticking in the woods, isn't it? By trees, by grass.
Right.
Why can't it just stay green? That's all it needs. Those colour changes are only for camouflage, aren't they?
I don't know. Some of them are for attraction. Some of them to show moods, anger.
No, but I just think we're encouraging them. You see, maybe this is evolution or whatever, but at the end of the day, because they can change colour, they're wandering out of their area. They can be wandering about, through a car park and everything, just because they'll go, well, I don't want to get seen, change the colour of concrete. Whereas...
Or into the colour of a Fiat Punto.
But they should just stay green. Stay green, right? Stay in the woods and stay safe.
I love this public information for chameleons.
Words of advice for chameleons.
Oh, God.
Stay green, stay in the woods, stay safe, good night.
Oh, God. Right. the only time a turkey whistles is when it panics.
Christmas time, then.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Carl?
It goes from one extreme to another, doesn't it? You've got a frog who's going mental,
It's not going mental.
killing thousands of people.
No, that's not.
That's got that sort of power. Then you've got a turkey who's whistling for help.
You think that you should redress the balance a little bit? You want to give... What would you do? Give the frog the ability to kill 500 and the turkey 500?
I don't think it should be killing... I reckon 10. 10, because...
You've made your point with 10, haven't you?
Do you think that he's got 1,000 in his lifetime, like he's got 1,000 to kill? I don't think you understand.
I just
He
think...
doesn't really kill 1,000 people. It doesn't mean someone goes, Frog, you have the power to kill 1,000 people in your lifetime.
Choose them wisely.
But I just think if it needs that sort of power...
It should be fighting evil.
Well, it's not... it's knocking about the wrong area, isn't it? If it's under that much danger, move. I was thinking the other day about, you know, your body and everything, because it is amazing, isn't it? How it works.
Oh, yeah.
Does the brain control you, or are you controlling the brain? I don't know if I'm in charge of mine.
Nor do I,
There's a surprise.
Nor do I,
No, do you know what I mean, though, by that?
Does the brain control you, or do you control the brain?
Like, don't you ever sort of think sometimes? Say if you're making,
But
'cause
you
I
are
was
the
making,
brain.
No, but I was making a shopping list, right? Going right, I need some rice, kidney beans, and I thought I had everything, and I sort of was rolling up the paper, and then something went, oh, an onion.
Your brain did
something
that.
went an onion. Was it
No,
Suzanne?
well, my brain sort of went, you forgot something.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd forgot. I was
No,
putting
you
that-
are your brain.
No, but don't you understand? My brain was I was in control of my brain when I was writing down rice and kidney beans.
But you're not in charge of the onion. That's another part of the brain that's in charge of the onion.
the onion sector.
Yeah.
No, but I put the paper away, putting my coat on, ready to go, ready to go and get the rice.
Yes, but your onion lobe kicked in.
What? So you put the paper in your pocket, you got the coat on, then you just suddenly hear
Then
from
it
nowhere,
was just like, it was
onion.
like, yeah, I'm not even thinking about that shopping list. It's in my pocket. I'm thinking, do I need my gloves? It's cold out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, onion. And it was like, oh yeah, onion. Yeah, I had to get the paper out. So
You
what
had
I'm
to write that
saying
down.
is,
But
who's
what?
in charge?
The brain, the mind. The brain is the... What are you doing?
But
Who's in
that's
charge?
just you forgot the onion, then you remembered the onion. You must have forgotten things in the past.
No, but not like that. Not where, like, it just made me think, that was weird. Who reminded me of that?
You did.
Yeah, but I'm not...
No, you are your brain. It's not like there's you, then there's a brain, then there's an extra one looking down at it. Oh, the meta brain, the thing above it.
No, but your brain... How does your brain work? You give it information, don't you?
Well, it takes...
Do you mean you give it information?
Well,
He's doing it,
if
isn't
I
it?
sat in a room with nothing, not feeding it anything, it wouldn't know anything.
No, but there's this thing
But
that there's
then-
two yous. It's this thing that there's
There's
this...
Karl and Karl's brain.
Yeah, there's not a duality in this. If you go, come on, now think. That's the brain saying that to itself. It's not. There's not two people in there having an argument. Come on, brain. And the brain's going, oh, don't you start, I was thinking then. And the other thing's going, brain, onion. And the brain goes, Karl, onion. You are your brain. If you are anything, you are your mind, your brain, your collection of memories, your personality. You're not what you look like. Does that answer your question, Karl? What do you think of then? You were thinking of a tortoise on a skateboard then when I did that last sentence, weren't you?
You know, whilst you've been working on that, I've been travelling about a bit. Went to Dorset, right? Nice beach there. And you know those huts you get? Like a hut on the beach, and
Oh, where you get changed?
you can get changed in it, but they're better than that. It's like you can put a telly in it, sofa if you want.
Oh, you don't mean the Victorian changing hut, do you mean
those sort
like...
of things. It's sort of bigger than that.
Yeah.
And we're walking down there, and there was a really sort of big fat family in one of them. There was about 4 of them, and you could tell that they'd never had a game of anything. Do you know what I mean? They just sit down there, eating ice creams, looking at the sea and what have you. And the weird thing is, the little fat kid, the youngest one, who must have been, I don't know, about 8, he was really fat to the point of you couldn't see his neck.
Yeah.
and he's sat at the front of his mum and dad and his older sister. He sat there, and he had a frisbee, and I thought, look, they don't want to play with him. I mean, that's an active game to play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frisbee. As we got closer, he was just using it to eat Maltesers out of. I just thought, even again, the one active thing he's got, he's using it to eat out of.
Yeah. Extraordinary.
And that just sums up what people are like now when it comes to keeping fit and activities.
Oh, that's fantastic.
One thing I've noticed, that because I occasionally go to the gym, and those guys who work out constantly to give themselves extraordinary physiques, just they're on the trip, they're on the weights, and they're really, I've noticed in the summer particularly, those guys cannot wait to get their shirts off.
Yeah.
Everywhere you see, they're walking around. If they've got a good torso, they are walking shirts off. Even I think if you go to nightclubs, I notice there's always one guy who's thinking, well, I have put so much work into this body, I have got to get my shirt off on the dance floor.
At best, yeah.
And it comes straight off.
A brand new tattoo. I'm not covering that up.
Exactly.
I've paid a lot for it. Let's see it.
Yeah.
But that's what we were saying about bodies. I can't remember why we were talking about it. We've got to a point in science now that you can change a head. Right?
No, well, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It was a program on. It was done in the 50s or 60s where they stuck a monkey's brain on a stick and had it wired up, and it still worked. Right.
Right. Okay.
And that was in like the 60s. Or
right.
whatever.
Okay. Well,
So,
to say to change a head makes no sense at all. Because if you put a different head on a different body, you're changing the body.
yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm about to say to you, though.
What?
That's what I'm saying. That I'd be more confident if I had someone else's body, because if anyone dissed it, I can go, no, it's bad, innit? But it's
What
not
are you
mine.
talking about?
Well, it's like, say,
As opposed to someone else's head?
yeah. Well,
What,
it
you'd
won't be
rather-
me, would it? The head is me.
Well, of course it is. That's what I mean.
yeah,
So
the
what do you
head's
mean?
me.
You'd be happier having someone else's body? What, than your own?
What I mean is, say if you're wandering about, for some reason, there's an incident. You have to take your top off and that, and everyone's looking at you, right? And you're a bit sort of, you haven't got the muscles and that, you haven't got the six-pack,
Right.
which isn't that nice anyway. I don't know why that's become a nice thing, really, seeing the insides of you. You might as well... I mean, I know I came up with the see-through skin idea, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? You can see stuff.
No, it's the muscle in front of the...
No, it's not. Sometimes
is.
you can
It's
see
not the-
It's
like,
not the
tubes.
outline of your
No, you
organs.
can't see tubes.
You can see tubes and veins and stuff.
Well, you can see veins.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see that. That's why we've got skin over it. Is
Well,
what
stop
I mean.
looking at naked men, then.
Why
No,
you
but
keep-
sometimes you can't help it because it's been hot, and like you say, there's people walking about with vests on and that. So anyway, what I'm saying is, say if some incident happened, I'm walking about with my top off.
Right.
Girls are laughing at me, right?
Why?
Dunno, they might.
Yeah, go on. So they wouldn't look at your body, they'd all look at your head.
So what I mean is,
Yeah.
rewind that, right, and imagine all that happens again, but I've got someone else's body.
Right.
Whose body?
Just some fella who's died, and my body was injured, and they said, we've got a new body in. You can
Right.
have it. We'll
Yeah.
stick your head on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, say if
They're laughing at you.
they are
laughing at the
they're
body,
laughing
yeah.
at the body,
Yeah.
but at least I'd be able to sort of go, I know it's a mess, but it's not mine. At least I don't have to claim ownership.
So all of this extraordinary technology that can make put one head on another person's body, so you can go, it's not my body.
No.
But
it's not your own.
I'm not being funny though. So if you have a body transplant, right, and you're there, you're at home, naked, you look down,
Yeah.
lovely penis and a set of testicles,
Yeah.
right? What do you do with them?
What do you mean? What am I doing with them?
Well, do you like them?
Well, you wouldn't mess about with them as much as if they were your own.
But if you did mess about with them, would you feel guilty that you were messing about with another man's testicles and penis?
And it's the full body.
Yeah.
No, because they're not my hands either.
You're a genius! You're a fucking genius! So what you're doing is watching someone else wank.
Yeah.
We've been away filming in a sweltering London. We've had a heat wave here in the capital city, haven't we, Karl?
It's been alright.
Been up to 100 degrees, record-breaking temperatures.
Yeah.
What have you been doing, though?
getting to see the place, having loads of walks and that. I like to have walks, you know, watching what
Like a
people are doing.
dog.
Yeah, when he jumps off the couch and starts
Exactly.
scratching against the door.
Suzanne thinks it's time.
It's just good thinking time, though, isn't it? As well, having a walk. You've got no other clutter going on around you. And you just think about a lot of stuff. And, you know, like say, with the weather being hot and stuff, a lot of insects knocking about.
Right.
So I've just been watching them.
so while we've been filming, you've been watching insects.
Yeah, just seeing, because everybody knows insects are out there, but no one's keeping an eye on them.
What are they up to? What are you worried about?
Loads at Steve, you wouldn't be laughing like that if you'd watch them, because they do some weird stuff and that, is what I mean.
What sort of stuff? Any examples?
I saw a bee have a heart attack.
You saw a bee have a heart attack.
Yeah.
How were you sure it was a heart attack?
Because what happened, I'd been
Did
in...
it clutch its chest with all 6 legs?
No,
Were there some other little bee paramedics?
No, I'd just been out in the park anyway, just looking at, you know, caterpillars knocking about, butterflies and stuff, so I was sort of aware.
So when Suzanne goes to work, she goes, Carl, don't you waste the day. I want you to do some constructive stuff.
But the thing is, so I'd been in the park and I was aware of the insects that are around us more than, like, most of the time. And I come out of the park, just crossing, like, sort of a busy road and what have you, and I saw this bee to the right of me, sort of in the air, and it was a big one, and I was a bit like, oh, let's watch that. And it just fell. It fell from the air in front of me, and it was on the pavement. I thought, oh, what's going on here? And I looked at it for a bit, and it was really still. Gave it a little kick, just to see if there was any movement. Nothing. Stone, sort of, what's the saying? Stone cold dead.
Yeah! Stone cold bee dead.
So,
Yeah.
that
I like
was,
the fact that this bee suddenly saw Carl and had a heart attack.
Yeah.
It'd never seen anything that round before.
Yeah.
It just thought, it had approached him because he thought it was a sunflower.
My God, it's a giant walking orange. Every dream has come true.
no, but it just summed up life for me. I thought, that's like us, isn't it, at the end of the day? They have heart attacks, stress.
You put it down to stress, do you?
Well, it's in London, isn't it? You know, everything has stresses from living here.
And they are bald, aren't they? They've got fur all over, but they lose the...
I'm always overweight.
It was a fat, bald bee.
So what did you... It fell to the floor and you instantly... You just kicked it. You didn't
No,
attempt
I
to
waited a
revive
second and just looked at it to see if there was any, you know, leg movement or wing. And there was nothing. And then when I sort of kicked it, it was sort of hard. It had hardened already. It's just...
Rigor mortis had set in.
Rigor mortis had set in.
Did it put you in a bad mood for the day? Because I know things like that can just send you over the edge for the day.
Death and that does a bit. Suzanne doesn't like me talking about death.
What riveting conversations do you come up with?
No, just things like one of our mates has had a baby recently, and I just was saying, oh, when that's sort of our age, we'll nearly be dead.
Think of that.
That's the first thing he says. There's a new life brought into the world.
I know.
But when he's our age, we'll be dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Maybe
weird.
they'll let you do the speech at the christening.
Well, yeah, I've been watching loads of stuff. I've been watching ants. You mentioned ants. I've had a lot of moths in the house. They're sort of sad.
I mean, you say it like it was a garden party.
Yeah, well, but all I'm saying is I look at more about what its life is like. Because if you watch something long enough, is what I'm saying, you can see that it's a bit clueless. It's the same way about ants. Or, you know, they're hard workers and all that. I watch one. It's going back and forth all the time. They go one way and then they stop and go the other way. They try to look busy in front of the mates. But if you watch one, if you watch one long enough, it's back and forwards, and it's like it's done nothing there.
I'm going to carry this twig back and forth until I can knock off at 4.
There's a lot of that going on.
Is there?
Because there's none of that going on.
There is. No, like I say, the moth, depressing little sort of thing.
Why is it depressing?
It hasn't got eyes, has it? You just look at it, it doesn't know what's going on. I just don't. I think if you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
That's
a rule. If we could put that into practice, please.
That's a great rule. That's a fantastic rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
I just was reading something about an octopus. That's like a killer octopus. And it annoyed me that this was knocking about now. Because I didn't know, I thought they were quite friendly. Whenever you see them in cartoons and that, they're always happy, aren't they? And then suddenly, like, they've sort of brought the whole sort of creature down. Do you know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Well, just you know, when you see them in films, they're running about and that, and everybody likes an octopus. But this one that's on it was your fault really, because you told me about that frog that's going about killing people.
No, I didn't say that.
So I looked it up on the internet at like other creatures and stuff, and
.com.
there's some octopus that's in the sea, and what it does, you don't even have to like threaten it. It just spits in the water, and if that stuff gets on you, does you in.
Again,
So in a way, it's good knowledge because, I mean, I don't go in the sea anyway because it's full of stuff like that. But that's just reassured me that I'm doing the right thing. If they're knocking about, just gozzing everywhere, you don't even have to be near one. You don't even know if it's been spitting and stuff. It can kill you. It just seems unfair. I haven't harmed it. I haven't gone near it. Why is it getting annoyed with me? Doesn't seem right. So that's where a knowledge has not helped that octopus out. Because now, when you eat them, I just think, yeah, have another one. Do you know what I mean? Get rid of them.
another conversation with himself. Another conversation with himself. Okay, Carl, I'm just going to throw an animal at you. Tell me how weird it is, what bits annoy you, how you change it. Okay? A crab.
How would I change it?
Yeah. Does it annoy you? Do you think it's weird?
They are weird, but they're at that size where they can get away with it.
Yeah, it suits them. Okay, good.
Would I change anything? In a way, you know, what you're saying about things not working, he can't walk forwards. So why hasn't something happened? Why haven't they said, you know what, these arms are too clumsy. We need to have them so they can slot away easier, and we can pull them out when we need them, instead of clumping around with them. Because they do struggle. You see them struggling with their arms. Yet they're still here, they're still doing that, they're still designed that way.
What's the weirdest animal? So you think the octopus is the weirdest animal on Earth?
Yeah.
Why is it any weirder than a dog?
Because it couldn't be further away from us. A dog has got human eyes. If a jellyfish had a pair of eyes like ours, I probably wouldn't worry about him that much. But like I said to you, it's that way that they haven't got eyes, they're floating about. I can handle some fish. They look like us. They've got eyes. You can make eye-to-eye contact with them. A jellyfish, what are you looking at? It's a snidey thing, like I've said to you. You can see a lot in eyes. Do you know what I mean? They say, don't trust him. Why? It's his eyes. Jellyfish haven't even got any, and I don't trust them. In terms of design and everything, and if you lined everything up, say if I'd come from another planet and everything was lined up in a row, and they said, right, we're going to give you a crash course in what's knocking about on this planet. Yeah. And you go, right, go on then. And you go, this is man, here's woman, here's a dog, here's a cat, here's an octopus, I go, hang on a minute, what is this? Say if everything was at the same size as us, what would be the best thing to be? Say like a tarantula.
Yeah.
And a tiger. What would happen there?
A 15-stone tiger versus a 15-stone tarantula.
Yeah.
Well, I'd imagine a 15-stone tarantula.
Right, so it's just weird, that, innit? It's a good job that they're small. Yet things are getting bigger because we're messing with the world.
But it's a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it? Because what would it eat? 15 stone. The biggest you'll find is like a foot-long beetle or something.
It's big though, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's about as big as they get.
So
I wouldn't worry about it.
Again, based on nothing, he queries you.
But it's like fish, isn't it? How they say about a goldfish.
Yeah.
That thing about a woman who went on holiday and stuck it in a bath. She came back, it was 7 foot.
Right, that didn't happen.
No, that's a well-known thing about goldfish.
No, it's not a well-known thing.
What?
I'll tell you why. Because a fish will only grow to its surroundings anyway. So...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to put it in a bigger tank.
Yeah, in a bath.
No, a 7-foot fish in a bath. It just fit the bath exactly, did it?
When she got back off holiday...
Don't talk shit. What was it eating? What was it eating?
How long was she gone for? 2 million years?
yeah. She went to Mars and back.
Ted, you're not going to believe this. Come up here.
Well, how many fish do you see that have naturally died? It's always been caught by a man or a shark's at it. You don't just see dead fish washed up, do you?
Well, most things that don't die of old age.
Yeah, that's weird though, isn't it?
Well, no, because it's it's a jungle out there.
No, worse than the sea. The sea is like full of... you've got an enemy around every rock.
I love it! I love it! It's like a warning to crabs
Exactly.
and young squid. It's like the policeman that comes into your school.
Yeah. Karl, have you ever seen the programme Inside the Actors Studio?
No.
James Lipton interviews famous actors and gets words of advice about, how they work and how they act. But at the end, he always asks a series of questions, which is based on a French series of questions that a guy called Bernard Pivot used to give people when he interviewed them. So I'm going to ask you some of these questions, just interesting to see what your response is. And, answer them quickly, you don't have to think about them too much. What is your favourite curse word?
I don't think I've got one. Knobhead. That sums everything up, and I think it's...
But you wouldn't call your nan a knobhead, would you? What would you call a nan?
Well, knobhead's all right, isn't it? Because she sort of gets it. It's one of them things that everybody understands, but it's not too offensive.
Right.
What a knobhead.
What would you do, though, if you were swimming, right? It was a nice little thing, you're on holiday, right? And there's this octopus there, and you're going around, right? And you just see it start spitting at you. Poison. What would you say to it?
Well, it's too late then, isn't it? And I'd kick it. And I'd say, knobhead. I would... but what's the point? What's the point in getting annoyed now? Because it's done its stuff, hasn't it?
I don't know, you'd kick it and call it a knobhead under the water. What is this octopus thinking? Oh, God. Oh, okay, you fucking eight-legged shit.
I'm not bothered. I don't know what you're saying.
Fucking cunt of a mollusk.
I'll just spit at you again. It's not bothered.
You slimy little fucking boneless wanker.
This is why the face
Are you
is
still
good.
talking to the octopus?
Download and listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast provider. Just check the description below.
What's been going on?
I've been to hospital. I was rushed to hospital, like emergency and that. Had a tube put on my knob.
You had a tube put up your knob?
Yeah.
What's the story?
Kidney stones.
Oof.
So, shouldn't really be here, to be honest, doing this. They said rest and that. Climbing them stairs on the way in.
To be quite honest, it doesn't look like you're expending a lot of energy at the moment. It's like at Zookeeper going, oh, that sloth move today. Calm down.
Yeah, but I had to get here. It's been raining.
Yeah.
I had to come up the stairs. I had to carry the computer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not entirely true, because your girlfriend was carrying it. I saw her outside.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
And then you handed it to me and said, Steve, carry this. So
Almighty.
Yeah, I know.
that's already a lie.
Christ almighty. Whinging.
Not whinging.
I'm in show business. I know loads of people that wake up every day with a sore knob, feeling like they've had their kidneys probed, and they will say they're unconscious. So they don't whinge about it. They get straight back onto it. They, a lot of them are on TV now.
Yeah, straight back to hosting game shows.
So you're rushed to hospital.
So take us through the events, because it does sound quite dramatic. You started feeling a bit of pain, did you, initially?
Felt a bit of pain, and I thought, maybe I just pulled a muscle or something when I've been wrestling with Ricky and that, because you don't know what damage has been done. So I just think, it'll go in a minute, and then it didn't. It got a bit badder.
It got badder, did it?
So then I thought, I was crippled. I was lying on the floor in agony, looking on the internet, looking for sort of
still looking at Monkey News.
I just put in like bellyache and stuff, and they were saying me loads of different things. And what I used to do when I was a kid, I used to always just get a cold ashtray and put that on my belly, and the coldness used to get rid of the badness.
Amazing.
The cold has got me. Well,
It's like a witch doctor.
yeah.
This is like
A witch doctor happens to work in a pub.
It's like some sort of 5th century remedy
Yeah.
written in mud.
Yeah.
Coldness doth get away with the badness.
Why specifically an ashtray?
Just because they sort of old cold.
They're old cold.
I don't know what this is. I love this idea that he's had the operation and he comes round and they're talking to him and his girlfriend gets a phone call and they say, Mr. Pilkington's maybe complications. He's just talking rubbish. She goes, oh, good.
Yeah, he's back to his old self. What? Why specifically an ashtray? Sorry, because it's old cold. I understand it's old cold.
Yeah, we understand. Everyone who's done a medical degree understands old cold, but old cold belly badness. If you want to buy that book, Old Cold Belly Badness, it's the history of abdominal surgery by Karl Pilkington.
No, it just,
But do you put it in the freezer or something first?
You can do if you want, but they're normally cold anyway. Sort of thick glass and that, it holds the cold. But we don't smoke in our house, so I had to use a plate.
Oh, well, that's madness. A plate's not going to work. Famously, a plate doesn't work.
No!
So you put a plate on your belly, but that didn't do any.
That didn't work. So called Suzanne and said, "Oh, I'm in agony here." She said, "Go to the doctors then."
Good advice.
So
a lot of people have done that straight away, as opposed to going through the plate ashtray.
So he went to hospital one day. He went to hospital and he said, "Have you got an ashtray?"
They went, "No, especially an ashtray.
This is no smoking."
So anyway, so then we get in a cab and whatever. You go there. I have an X-ray.
His voice is even more boring than usual,
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
Fuck me.
And they put me on a drip and everything. Give me some morphine and stuff. And found out that I had kidney stones. So that's why I was in hospital. And they get them out by... I don't know what's gone on, to be honest. I've got some tube inside me. From my kidney to my bladder. That's helping me stuff get about.
And so there's a little tube up the end of your knob into your...
Yeah, it's not there now. It's high up.
Right.
So it's high up between my kidney and my bladder.
But why didn't you have the thing where they go in the side? You had the choice to...
Because I said to the doctor, I said, I'm not a doctor. I said, what do you think?
He went, stop putting yourself down, Karl.
He said,
we need you in the operating theatre now.
He just said, I said to him, what should I have done? Because he said, if you want, go home and we'll get you in again or something. Something like that. And I said, no, I might as well have it done properly. Have it done now whilst I'm here.
Sorry, the choice was have it done properly or go home.
It was something like that. He said there's something you can do, and I said, oh,
flush it out.
No, because it's too big. It's something like 7mm.
And it's basically because you don't drink enough water.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, what do you think I should have done? And he said, tube up the knob. And I said, not my favourite one of the choice, but if that's what you think. So he said, yeah, have that. He did me little diagrams, which didn't help. He was like showing...
How big did he draw your knob?
Sort of normal size.
Yeah? Was it?
It was alright.
You weren't offended by them?
But he went into detail. It's just, more the tube and stuff in your bladder and your kidney.
What was your ball bag like? Did he draw that?
He didn't do that bit. He left that bit out.
Okay, right.
But he said, we'll just pop that up there. And then that's when Ricky turned up to visit. He came in laughing at me because we sat there in like me underpants and stockings.
In stockings?
Yeah.
Why were you
He was there. No, he wasn't in bed. He was sort of out of bed with his little drip, right? He had his little boxer shorts on, just sat there, right, in his pants, right, and he had stockings on.
Yeah, because they stop clots or something. They put them on your legs. It's like, when people have got big veins and they go on a plane.
Right. Yeah.
You said you're not a doctor.
No, but I've seen it because Suzanne's mum did it, and she put them on ridiculously early, like 3 days before we were going away, and she'd never been away before, and everything was like over the top. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I best put them on. And so I put them on, and they I don't know what it is. It's something when you're under, your blood doesn't move about the same,
right?
And it can clot up in your leg. So you wear these tight tights.
And I came in to cheer him up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was that a nice cheery experience, him coming in?
I had a headache at the time. I think I was a bit stressed out.
Well, he's just the man you want at that point.
Yeah. Well, it's weird how it suddenly all happened quick. And I woke up and there was an Irish woman over me going, "Are you alright? You alright?" And I said, "Oh, it's stinging a bit." She said, "I'll give you some more morphine." And I sort of put my head up to have a look at my tackle because I wanted to see
If it was still there.
what was attached to it. Do you know what I mean? Because they said something about they might leave some string hanging out of it so they can pull the tube out.
It makes you talk.
So, I had a look for that. Couldn't see any of that.
Yeah.
But as she put the morphine in, all the muscles in your body go funny. My head just collapsed. But I'm in agony now, and
Are you in agony right now as we speak?
yeah, certain. But it does make you think now. Do you know what I mean? Like life and everything. I mean, it's weird how it's all happened in the last month. From seeing that bee sort of die.
No,
Well, not really.
No. This is not a near-death experience.
It is
You
a
had a
little bit.
routine operation to remove kidney stones because you don't drink enough water.
No, I know, but
This is not a shark attack.
yeah, but it's all life-threatening. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to fill out forms, would you? Saying if everything goes wrong, Suzanne can have the house or whatever. They keep taking your heartbeats and stuff, and your blood pressure. I don't like knowing about that. I just like leave it. It's happening. Don't be messing with it. Stop measuring it.
Stop measuring it.
No, do you know what I mean?
That's the same with a knob.
It's that thing of like they put that thing.
That's what
on.
the anaesthetist was doing when you were under, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was comparing the diagram to the actual thing.
Oh, God.
What is the closest thing sort of living that's nothing?
I don't know what you mean.
What?
What's like the closest, like, do you know at some point something's gone from nothing to something, hasn't it?
No, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean.
Do you mean what is the first and lowest and most primitive and most simple form of life?
No,
He's right here in this room, Rick.
say like when you look at a stick insect,
Right.
you go, right, there's a slight crossover there from a stick to a living thing.
No, it's not.
It didn't used to be a stick.
No, it's not. There's no biological relationship between it and a stick.
But there isn't much difference between the two, is what I mean.
Of course there is.
It's a huge
There isn't.
difference.
They just sit there looking like a stick. That's their skill.
Yes, but there's nothing to do with being a stick. It's like camouflage. That's like saying when a soldier puts on combat gear, you're saying he's a cross between a human and a shrub.
What I'm saying is, have you seen them weird things that just look like they sort of look like a leaf?
Yeah, there are insects that have evolved to look like a leaf.
At some point, something has had it away with a leaf.
No,
What?
at no point has something had it away with a leaf.
No, to make it look that much like a
No.
leaf.
At no point did a beetle shag a leaf. It's superficial. It's the way it looks. That's all it. That's like saying comedians must have mated with green once. They are green.
No, but
it
what-
looks like a leaf.
But then how does it meet? How does it have relationships? It will be going around sort of having it away with a leaf.
No, it won't, because it doesn't know what it looks like. It doesn't matter. It's not like they, a stick insect will be talking to a stick for ages and go, "Oh, I've wasted my time here. This club's dead." Rude.
I was chatting to her. She was foxy, but she was giving me nothing.
But Dave, that's not a stick insect. That's a stick.
What are you talking about?
That's a stick. You've been talking to a stick all night. I thought.
I can't believe it. I just thought she had a great, slim figure.
No, it's actually a real stick.
Well, I've been watching birds more than insects recently.
Oh, okay, you've moved on from
in the
insects.
last week, just because I've sort of looked at the ant and the bee and that. And what I've found with pigeons is they've got wings, yet they walk a lot.
I'd love that to be a thesis where he got like a £500,000 grant from a university, and they said, "Well, Pilkington seems to. He's done ants and he's done bees. He's followed ants. Apparently, they're not doing anything. Some of them are lazy. We are granting him another £500,000. He's been working on it for a year. Please welcome Karl Pilkington."
Carl, what have you found?
Well, even though pigeons have wings, they walk a lot.
Well, I heard, and you told me this, so I know it's true. Do you know when I talked about replacing blood with coconut? What was it?
Well, one, it said coconut milk, can be used as plasma, but I haven't had that verified because it's off one of those websites where there are spurious facts.
But what do you think of that, Steve? I mean, I've sort of touched on it.
But I've just got to echo what Ricky said. I can't have an opinion unless it's been verified.
But why aren't you just being open-minded enough to go, well...
No, but
that's
not being
being
open-minded. Open-minded isn't believing everything you hear. You don't believe everything you read, do you?
A lot of stuff you kind of go, well, that's interesting to...
But what we talked about this, what about Noah's Ark?
What about it?
Well, you know, you said you believed it because it's in book form, but according to that, didn't he get 2 of every species on a big boat? But we know that's impossible, don't we?
Depends where he was. If he was above a zoo, there would have been a lot of different stuff knocking about. That's my only problem. What I'm saying is, where was he floating where he could get an elephant, a giraffe, a cat, a dog, a gerbil? Where were all these things floating about?
Well, exactly.
Right,
That's
these
my
Old
only
Testament
downfall.
zoos, they were quite...
Yeah,
quite
but
big,
exactly.
really.
But you're right. You're questioning it. How is it possible?
But I've just said, a zoo.
There's no zoo that has got 1% of all animal species.
Well, I don't know where he got them from then.
There's a couple of million species of animal. And how did he round these animals up?
Because they were drowning, so they were looking for any boat.
So they were actively seeking out an ark.
Well, they would have just been looking for anything to get hold of.
Yeah, and where did he keep them all? How did he keep them all separate? How did he...
At that point...
Oh no, the lions ate the otter.
No, because at that point, it's that thing, innit, of how you all pull together in a bad situation.
Talk shit.
You all chip in, they're all like, oh god, you know, let's be nice to our neighbours.
Right, so there's spiders talking to flies and...
Well, they would have just gone elsewhere, wouldn't they? They would
What do you
have been
mean?
on another bit of the boat. The spiders don't have to knock about the lions just because they're all in it together. They get their own little area, don't they?
Well, I don't know. How big is this boat?
It's big, it's a big boat. How long, what was the warning he got from God to make it?
I don't know.
It's a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 2 of every species, Karl. How big would this boat have to be?
Yeah, it's big.
You can't just keep saying it's big, because I know in your mind, you're imagining this ark, there's a boat with Noah up the front with his wife, 2 giraffes behind him, then next there, 2 elephants, and it just, and it's just like elephant, giraffe, hippo, dog, cat, weasel, couple of frogs, and a spider talking to a fly going, let's get on, but when we're off here, you're dead.
But what would you have done then? Are you saying that you wouldn't get on there because it's too noisy?
It's not a question of
No,
what
it
would
didn't
have
happen.
done.
It didn't happen.
To be honest, I'm not bothered. And they got through it, didn't they? They got through it. They're here now. We're not short of them. If anything, like I said, he didn't do us a favour because he saved too much. You can't move out there for stuff.
I was swimming recently, I do a lot of swimming, and I've never quite mastered my front crawl. Just never quite nailed the breathing, because it's quite tricky, isn't it? You know, you've got to breathe at the right moment. And so I'm in the swimming pool in the local gym, and there's a guy bombing up and down, really doing a great forward stroke. So I waited till he came up, and sort of went, excuse me, mate. I was just watching you when you were doing your front crawl. I was really impressed. Could you just watch me when I do mine and tell me if I'm going
Why
wrong?
would you go to a man?
I know, and that was what that was the problem, is only as I was saying it did I realise what it sounded like. I've just been watching you swimming up and down. I was really impressed.
And you're both in Speedos.
Both in Speedos. You know, I'm got the goggles on, prescription goggles, so that I can see when I'm swimming.
But why do you need them? There's nothing in a pool to look at. It's not like you're scuba diving. There's nothing.
Hold
It's
on.
just...
Clearly there is something to look at in a pool.
Well, no, I wasn't checking. Well, I was checking him out, but I was checking him out for swimming tips. And he just looked at me when I asked him, "Can you just watch me and offer me any tips?" And he just looked at me like I was just mental.
That is such a strange thing to say. Can you just watch? I don't know how you had the nerve to do that.
Well, it was innocently motivated.
Well, I know it's innocent, but what a strange thing to go up to someone and...
But what civilization are we living in where we can't just ask our fellow man to help us out with our forward crawl?
But we're in a society where we can't. But you know that. It's a strange thing to say.
But sometimes it's nice to just think, no, do you know what? I'm not going to fall into the trap of thinking
agree.
he's immediately going to think I'm gay or that I'm chatting him up. I'm just going to ask him to do me a favour. There's nothing wrong with that.
What if he said, yeah, it's just good, yeah. Do you mind come and help me with my plastering.
But it's not the same. He's in the swimming pool. He's there in the pool. He's swimming up and down. He's, it's not no skin off his nose to just offer a bit of kindly advice. If your car's broken down in the middle of nowhere and someone drives by, it's a generous thing to do. Just stop and maybe look under the bonnet and help them out.
I agree.
But I don't see how that's any different. And in the end, he did, and all he asked was that I wake him off. Karl, as you're aware, you've obviously got many celebrity fans, and you've also got a new fan, Warwick Davis, who is the short actor that many people will see in films like Return of the Jedi. He also is in Harry Potter. He's 3'6", and Ricky and I worked with him recently. And far from asking us about the many celebrity names that we've worked with, the only person he was interested in talking about, of course, Mr. K. Pilkington.
He wanted to meet you, Karl.
Yeah. Well, is he all right to get on with?
Why wouldn't he be?
Just because sometimes when people aren't normal, it's just...
Sorry?
No, I just mean when someone... Like, I've met a few little people in my time. The one that I met a little fella once, and he was all right. He got drunk really quick. But he was all right, but it took me by surprise. Only because, like I've said about when I met Steve for the first time, it's only that same thing. And then if I lived with the little fella, I'm sure we'd get on a storm.
What do you mean when you met
There's
Steve?
a TV show waiting to happen.
Things wear off. That's like the world, isn't it? And it's the same with the little fella you're talking about. First time I see him, I'd be a little bit like, oh, what do you say? Whereas once you get to know him, I'm sure he'd be a lovely little fella.
I don't know where to start, Steve.
But Warwick asks, really, what are your thoughts on short people, particularly in entertainment? Because, of course, they've, throughout the ages, made an appearance, particularly in fiction. Tom Thumb, of course, the Oompa Loompas.
What do I think of them?
He's just wondering, I suppose, what your take is.
They're all right. I mean, when I was on jury duty, every day I'd sort of see one pop in, and he'd be sort of struggling getting on the chair. And he'd sort of, he wasn't struggling in a way that he felt uncomfortable. He'd obviously climbed a lot of chairs in his time, and this was just another one. And watching him, it just makes you think. You go, I should appreciate that I don't have that problem every time I have to sit down and what have you. But I don't think it's that bad. If I had to pick being really tall or really small, I'd go for the really small one because, the world's a more interesting place for him, isn't it? Everything's bigger. Do you know what I mean? We go to New York and go, wow, look at this. And they go and they go, oh dear. Do you know what I mean? Everything's a lot bigger. Everything's more amazing. Food portions. Everything's a bonus. So out of the two, I'd be small, and maybe that's what I'd chat to Warwick about for a bit, just to get to know him.
Brilliant.
It's a shame in a way that he's not been able to pop in. I'd like to hear that conversation.
But I've got, speaking of like weird stuff and that, I've got a new...
Well, we weren't, but go on.
No, got a new book. Do you know I had that Freaks book? Top 50 Freaks. Got a new one sent to me.
Really?
Yeah, and do you know, like, everything normally has a name. So, like, if it's the two-headed fella, they're all nicknames like that, aren't they?
They've got two nicknames, I imagine.
But this new book I've got, right, on the cover of this one, it's got, like, a woman with 3 breasts, right? And she's called the three-breasted woman, as you'd expect. The one face.
Why is she posing nude, though? That's what I want to know.
Tart.
Well, she looked happy. And there was a fella with, like, one face but 2 bodies.
What do you mean one face but 2 bodies?
One face, 2 bodies.
What do you mean one face, 2 bodies?
Surely you one head, 2 bodies.
Ed as well, but it was mainly the face. That was weird because he looked fed up.
What are you talking about? How
What
can
are you
have
talking
a face
about?
without a head?
How can you have... What do you mean? How did it join to the neck?
No, it did have a head, but the fact is, it was weird that it had one face to me.
What do you mean?
Well,
if you've
of
got
course
one
he had-
head, you'll have one face.
Yeah, I know, but it was the fact that he had one face and 2 bodies that I didn't think.
But
one
why do
head-
you keep saying one face and 2 bodies as
Why
opposed to
not one
one
head?
head and 2 bodies? We're all the man with one face.
Yeah, but now I've got one body.
Yeah, well, surely he's the man with 2 bodies then. Again, the description.
Roll up, see the man with one face.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So it's full of stuff like that, right? And what I'm saying is, that fella, the one-faced man, the 3-breasted woman.
He wouldn't be known as the one-faced man, is what I'm saying.
Well, they all
isn't the peculiar thing about him.
No, well, they all had names like that.
Right.
But there was one thing in it that didn't even have a nickname. It was so weird.
What do you mean?
It just said unidentified.
What does it look like?
Sort of testicles for eyes. That's. It just reminded me when you.
What do you mean
strange.
testicles for eyes?
And what is it? Did he have a normal body?
I didn't even look at that.
Oh,
No, that's what I'm saying though. You're attracted to the oddness of the thing, and that's what I was saying about Warren when he walks in.
Warwick.
You know, it'll be odd for a minute, and then I'm sure
For him it will be. Yeah.
He'll get used to you.
I've got my head round it a bit more, and the way that there's loads of people in the world, and yet you don't see people with like dangly eyes more often. It amazes me.
I love the fact that he's amazed by not seeing freaks.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's walking down the street going, oh, everyone's got one head. That's weird.
Suzanne, see any dangly eyes today? No, me neither.
It's weird, isn't it? What's going on in the world?
Went out the other night with the lads. You know, there's a few of us, you know, young, free and single.
Must have looked like the Swingers.
Oh, it was pretty. It looked like a boy band had gone out. It looked like,
Really?
It looked like, you know, Sync had hit the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
A friend of mine said, let's go to a club. Right, I haven't been to a nightclub for a long time. Actually, I haven't been.
Is that because your glasses steam up when you walk in out of the cold?
That is a problem in the winter. I genuinely, it's very difficult to make a good impression when as you walk in, your glasses steam up straight away, and you know you got to take them off and clean them and stuff, and then you know you get a bit.
On your white fronts, you pull your white fronts up
Yeah.
through the jeans,
Yeah.
clean them on that.
Or the back of a girl's dress. But we cruised down to the club. It's one of those big sort of London super clubs, and it's a bit of a queue. I think it's a bit of a chore. But we're queuing up, we're in good spirits, we're looking at it, it sounds pretty funky, we can hear the music coming out. You know, been in the queue for quite a while, 25 minutes.
Forget it. 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were pretty excited by this point. The doorman says, hello lads. I said, yeah, we're coming please. He went, no you're not. I,
Really?
What? He said, you're not coming in. And he just immediately lifted the little rope and sent us away from the queue, right? And we were slightly perplexed, we were dumbfounded, we didn't know what to do, it was like, this couldn't be happening, it didn't make sense. We just queued up what was going on. And so, my friend said, well, we got to find out why he's not going to let us in. So he goes back over.
I thought you wanted to do. You wanted to tie him up with logic. That'll show a bouncer.
Exactly.
Yeah, show him how educated you are and how you can win an argument and make him look stupid. You'll be in that club in no time.
That's what they appreciate. They love that. Because what they respect is being made to look like a fool.
Exactly.
So we went over and...
They really look up to intellectuals.
Exactly, yeah. So one of our mates goes over and he says, why didn't you let us in? And he went, because you didn't have any girls with you. Now, I'll tell you this. That's kicking you when you're down. Because when you're out on a Saturday night trying to get into a club to meet women, and the reason you're not allowed to go in a club to meet women is because you haven't got any women with you, that's just salt in the wound. It's so humiliating. So, a friend of mine says that there's a VIP entrance over there. There was like a woman with a clipboard, you know, the guest list. Separate entrance. She said, you know, you've got a little bit of profile, Steve. Why don't we try and use your...
You ran home, got your Golden Globe in your Emmy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always carry, you know, some of my cuttings with me.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit self-conscious about it. I was thinking, I'm not into this, you know, it's a bit awkward. But he said, look, don't worry, you just stand here. Just stand here, just like you're having a conversation. I'll go over, I'll point him out, I'll go, oh, there's, you know, Steve Merchant over there, at the office. Or whatever.
Oh, God, Steve!
So I thought, well, the thing is, we were out, and I was a bit frustrated, and I thought, you know, we may as well try everything. So I stand there, and my friend goes over, and he has a word, and he comes back, and he says, it's fine. She can't let us in the VIP entrance because she's not allowed, but what she can do is walk us to the front of the queue, right? You can walk in front of the queue and explain. So I think, okay, fine.
Oh, God.
So we walk past everyone else, right, to the front of the queue, right? She goes up to the guy, she says, this is Steve Merchant office. The guy goes, I know he is, we're not letting him in.
Oh, God! Oh, God!
By now, of course, some people have recognised me, so they're trying to have my photo taken. So there's people inside the line that's being allowed in the club. I've got to lean across the rope to have my photo taken with them, even though I'm not allowed in the club. So they go, oh, alright, this is Steve, they're having the photos taken, right, camera phones and that. They're going into the club where the music, the party's kicking off. I'm outside waiting for the next chump who wants to have his photo taken. I mean, it was mental. So,
That's unbelievable.
I was furious, and then one guy, I remember he was chatting, and he goes, "Oh yeah, brilliant! I love the podcast and all that stuff. I love. Is Karl with you?" I said, "Oh, Karl's not out here." And his girlfriend, she went, "Who's that?" And he went, "Oh, it's just Steve Merchant. He does the office. He does the thing." And she went, Who cares? Who are you, Bruce Forsyth?" And it's that thing when suddenly I'm being humiliated and embarrassed by someone's girlfriend. I never asked for that. I never asked for her opinion on me. I'm sorry if I don't impress you, if I'm not sufficiently famous for you, but it's not my fault. It's your girlfriend who brought it up. It was like I'd gone over to her and tried to show off, and she was annoyed. So by now I was just furious.
Oh,
so I
God.
thought, forget this.
Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a group of builders sitting down having a cup of tea. One of them goes, "All right, Rick." I went, "All right, mate." The other one went, "Not as fat as on telly." I went, "Oh, thanks. Not as fat as on telly." So he went with, "Well, you are fat, but you look even fatter on telly." He didn't say, "Oh God, you don't look fat at all," or "Oh, you look big on telly, but you don't look fat." Just went with, "Not as fat as on telly." And there's nothing I could say, but cheers, mate.
Now, when you said cheers, mate, did you say that because you were? Because I'd say cheers, mate, because I'd be a little bit scared of them.
No,
I'd be
it
worried about
was
the
like
repercussions.
sarcasm, and I laughed after. Yeah.
So you can get away with sarcasm with working class blokes.
I'm a little bit more secure with a working class male than you, aren't I?
I'm terrified of them. I feel like they're going to turn on me at any minute.
You don't feel confident sort of backing in a lorry driver?
Terrified.
Oh, right.
Because if I did, he'd probably lean out and just go and get your dad, mate.
Yeah, not you.
Fuck off, I'm not interested.
Not you. Yeah. One prediction for the future, Karl, is from an academic study, what the world will be like in about 75 years from now. And a big prediction they're sort of sure of is that androgyny will rule. But soon you won't even need a female or a man in your life. You'll just need the egg or sperm. And you'll be able to have any coupling you want or not. Thoughts, Karl?
That isn't what I've heard.
What were you heard?
I heard that.
So you read an academic study, Rick, but
Yeah.
let's find out what Karl's been reading.
I heard we're all going to go ugly.
Different point, though, isn't it? That's
a completely different point, that. Not listening to a word Ricky said. But
No,
go
it's
on.
just if we all sort of go ugly, that will sort the population
He gets an
problem out.
extra syllable in the word ugly. 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 Ugly.
Yeah. So that just sorts the population out because people aren't sort of having it away left, right, and centre.
Well, then that doesn't sort of... What do you mean?
Sorry, Rick, I don't understand what the hell he said there.
Are you saying, because everyone's ugly, everyone won't want to have it away more with the ugly person?
Yeah.
Okay, I still don't... You seem to understand what he's talking about, Rick. I'm still
But
confused.
what he thinks is that if we're all ugly, then we still have this strange paradigm of beauty that won't exist, so we won't fancy anyone as much.
No, they'll still sort of fancy, because at the end of the day we're animals, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we'll still have it away, but
Yeah.
not as much as they'd like to do now because it's all based on looks.
Sorry, but what's this got to do
What's
with what
this
Ricky
world
said?
like? Describe
Ricky's-
a typical town or country
It's
set to me.
exactly right. Imagine London. You've still got the gherkin. You've still got the big wheel. That's
Right.
It's just everyone's ugly.
Right, and they're doing all the same jobs, are they?
Everyone's still the
So
world's got to carry
What
on.
do they look like? What's ugly?
Just imagine, like, have you ever seen anyone when you've just gone, look at that?
Yeah.
Right, well, like that.
Yeah, but hold on, because it's not
No,
like
because
a
we have
strict...
got better looking, haven't we? If I look back now
Yeah,
at a school photo,
yeah.
you look at my class and you go, what was going on then? Well, you can't tell the difference between some of the girls and the blokes.
When he said we've got better looking, I thought he was going to talk about cavemen, not his school photo. I mean, what happened there? There's been no evolution in that time. What are you talking about, Karl?
We've got better looking now, haven't we?
But we will change.
Yeah, we'll
Probably not
change
in
these little
75
things.
years.
I mentioned before about your little finger. There'll come a time when that'll go. I've watched it. I've kept an eye on what my little finger's doing. Sometimes it does nothing. It never helps out. All the others are grabbing all the stuff. That one just sort of sits there watching. So you could get rid of that, and I think that will go in evolution.
Think of the books he could have read when he was doing that, when he was monitoring his little finger.
I've been watching my little finger. But again, if you shaved a caveman, he's basically us. He's basically us.
Well, it's basically Karl.
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting, about the future, Karl, is the fact that technology integrated with humans will be fascinating. So, for instance, they're talking, about the fact that in the future we may even be able to have chips in our head that allow us to access the internet or an equivalent of it directly, mentally. So imagine that.
To say, not French fries.
But hang on though. At what point are we us then?
Yeah, this is good.
Go on.
No, because if I can go on the internet at any time, then that's going to know more than me.
What does that mean?
Okay.
When I don't know an answer to something now, which is a lot of stuff.
Really?
Go on.
You
Yeah.
watch University Challenge,
Yeah.
and the stuff them kids on that know. I just think, where have they stored that? For me, if something doesn't get used within a time period, that's it.
But again,
It's forgotten about it.
Basically, you've got about the same hardware
I
as
haven't.
those people.
Honest to God, I haven't. I know I haven't. So what I'm saying is, if I want to know the answer to something, I go on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if I've got a chip in my head with Google on it,
Yeah.
I'm never going to use my head. I'll just be forever on Google.
I'm never going to use my head.
Well, I'm not,
But what
because
do you
what's
think
the
your
point?
head is, though?
Because I'm going to get it wrong. The chances are I'll get it wrong, so divert that. It's like saying...
No, you can't bypass the brain straight to Google. When you're having a chat socially, it's not like they're going, "All right, Karl, how are you?" And you're not there. You're asleep, and Google's talking. I think you'll find that they don't.
No, only...
You want to see naked ladies? Come this way.
No, only for questions, though, that I don't know. But what I'm saying is, because I don't know a lot of the answers, I'll just say, forget it, leave it connected to Google.
No.
So then I'm not me anymore.
Well, what are you doing? Where's you gone?
I'm looking at Google.
So it is you.
No, but what Steve just said is, we'll have a chip in our head
Right.
that can access the internet.
Right.
So why bother
But
using my
you're
own
still
knowledge?
the go-between. You, Karl, are the go-between between the internet and whatever your
But you
mouth
can't
says.
beat the internet.
Yes,
You
but
can't,
you're
it
the
knows everything.
Where does Google get the information from in the first place?
Someone on one of them bright people on University Challenge has put it on.
Yeah, a human being.
So, but I'm going to get lazier. I don't watch University Challenge and go, I want to be like them. I'm going to start reading books. I've accepted I'm never going to be like them. I can't play along. All I tend to do is I say to Suzanne, right, so every question now, I'm going to have egg as the answer. And I'm hoping that one day...
What an amazing game! What an amazing intellectual pursuit that is!
What a lucky lady.
What does Suzanne say to that?
Well, she just sees if it works. She just plays along, and then I'm saying, oh, it might be this one or whatever.
I love that, because I remember once, it was about 5 years ago, Karl and Suzanne were around near Christmas, and me and Jane were there. We were playing different parlour games, like charades and that, and then one game, you have to do that thing where you have to beat, and you have to do animals, and you have to go... first one is A, then B. So you say aardvark, next one goes beaver, next one goes cat. It came to Karl, he panicked, and he went egg.
And he was on F. So you're sat there watching University Challenge, and on a good night, it's, well-known jeweller Fabergé's, well-known for his jewel-encrusted egg. Humpty Dumpty is commonly pictured as a living egg. Sometimes
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
extraordinary.
It's gonna, if you keep saying the same thing, eventually, it's like a broken watch.
Carl
It's
Pilkington's
always
head
right,
looks
innit?
like hay.
Yeah.
I've just got more chance of getting it right.
Sure.
But also, he told me when he plays University Challenge, he says he's given up ever trying to get an answer. So now he tries to guess who's going to answer the question. Another great game! Suzanne's roped in on! Unbelievable! How would you do with that?
That's
I'm
not...
normally all right on that.
Normally, all right.
There's got to be something else.
But there's
watch.
another evolution thing though. When you watch brainy people on that, or wearing glasses,
Yeah.
what does that tell you? We are reading too much. We're wearing the eyes out, and that you
Maybe.
can't argue with that because the evidence is there.
Can. Okay, one more go. What
Right.
do you mean?
The chip in the brain isn't part of filling your head with stuff. The journey of filling it with that stuff.
What do you mean?
Whereas if say if you had a baby, the baby pops out, it cries a bit. You go, right, we've got. What do you want your baby to be interested in? And you say, I want it to be a plumber. You go, right. When it's 2, we're going to stick a plumber chip in its head.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not right, is it?
No. No. I don't know why you chose plumber either.
Well, we still need plumbing.
Yeah, I
do we?
know we do, but...
It's odd that they would have chosen plumber. They've got such
yeah.
such kind of small
It's what his
ambitions for
it's
their
what his
babies.
granddad did, and they want the sort of the thing to go through the business. They own a plumbing business. they want the baby to carry on the business of the plumbing.
They want the baby to be able to plumb.
Well, what about this chip in the head?
But you've made this
But you've
up.
made the scenario
They're
up.
not putting chips in babies'
I
heads.
thought you said they were.
No, what?
No,
when
I
did I
didn't
say
say
that?
that.
I never said that.
I think Steve's right, and I don't know. I haven't read it, but I imagine he's saying it's the next step in convenience with technology and an interface between a human and a research tool or fun. You know, computers went from being the size of a room to a thing you can wear on your watch. So the next step may be, you won't forget your Palm Top, you won't forget your iPod, you won't forget your laptop. It's in there. It's an interface.
I know, but it makes us lazy.
Carl, it's not a question of. It's not that Google is now Carl. It looks like Carl, but it's just spamming, little pop-ups about offers you can buy and cheap holidays here and there.
He's not the man I'm added.
Right, look at it like this.
Jesus.
Look, I see it all the time now.
Go on.
You go, where are you going to someone? And they go, I'm going to Dorset.
Hey.
Oh, aye, what road are you taking? Don't know, just pop on the sat-nav. Now, that's a start, isn't it?
Okay. Let's act that out with me, okay? I'm going away for the weekend, Karl.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Dorset.
Oh, yeah. Are you getting there?
Car.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, which way are you going?
Don't know. Why do you want to know?
Oh, just making a friendly chat. Just, I'm interested in geography. Which way are you going?
Well, I don't know really. I've got a sat nav in my car, and I'm getting there. And what do you mean? What?
Bit lazy, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a pigeon. I don't.
I mean, you got an A to Z.
Well, yeah, but it's on a computer. The A to Z. What's the difference between looking at an A to Z and?
It's a bit lazy, though.
Not really. No. Why? Why is it any different that I've got it computerized so I can go along? A to Z's a bit dangerous, isn't it? It's a bit. Don't go to A to Z when you're driving along.
Clive, who are you talking to? Because we need to hit the road. We need to get going.
Well, it's this fucking idiot who wants to know what road I'm taking, which is a fucking boring thing to ask. Anyway.
Sorry, who is this twat? Because we really got to get going.
He's a fucking dickhead. I think he's an A to Z salesman by the door. I mean,
just tell him we're using the sat nav because it's the quickest, most efficient way to do it.
It's the quickest, most efficient way of doing it.
No, but look what's happened.
Who the fuck are you?
Would Columbus found America if he'd had a sat nav?
Yes!
No, he
He'd have
wouldn't.
put in America and he would have taken him
He wouldn't.
America.
He only found it because he got lost. Now, if everybody just goes...
Hold on. How would an undiscovered country be on a sat-nav?
No.
Go on.
But I just
What's
mean...
the difference between the sat-nav and the map in that regard?
Because I've found some lovely little cafes on roads I've never been on.
And I've instantly gone from finding a continent to a little cafe.
I love that.
Little greasy spoon.
I am off to discover the unknown world. Where are you going? Well, I don't know yet. It's the unknown world. What are you taking? Just a boat like all lazy swim, you cunt. I love the fact that he's so Luddite now, he's annoyed at the sat-nav. I mean, you'd have probably given Columbus a hard time. Oh, got a compass. Don't you know where north is, you twat?
I just think there's something in being lost. I never feel lost. I just think, I've had a diversion. Because you find new things. I'm forever going
Meanwhile,
down...
Suzanne's asking the French peasant where the...
Just think, Columbus...
All right, what's the most interesting thing you found when lost?
Like I say, they normally... I found a shop that was like a fancy dress shop.
Amazing.
Do you need fancy dress stuff?
Dressed
You
up
never
as
got
Columbus,
it. You
went
never
and bought a
got
sat-nav, went to Dorset for the weekend.
it. You never got it. Why do you need a fancy dress shop? That sounds like the one thing you would hate is fancy dress.
Yeah, but I like looking at the... they have like a space helmet in there.
Right, so you found a fancy dress shop. Where are you supposed to be going that you had time to get sidetracked and go in a...
I think I was going to a meeting. Just cut...
Amazing, that's the last time!
So you want to get lost?
Yeah, you don't want to get lost,
No, because I always give myself loads of time because I get lost a lot. I always give myself...
Get a sat-nav!
No, I'm just saying, that's how you find little treats along the way, and next time you pass it, or next time someone says, do you know where the fancy dress shop is? You go, yeah, I do.
You have no idea because I was lost. I didn't know where it was.
No, normally I learn.
I'm not going to tell you, lazy cunt. Have you got an A to Z? Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, find it yourself, you lazy twat.
So...
What have you learned? You keep going on about all this learning. What have you learned?
What have you learned? Okay, sum up mankind's foray into the future. I want this. This will be the introduction to a book about the future. It will then be read in 100 years' time and go, Karl Pilkington was the most prophetic genius that's ever walked the earth. These are his words from 2010.